need good news. We need to take the gospel where it has never been. And so you're going to meet Erik Laursen with New Covenant Missions. He's the president and CEO. First, let's watch this together.
The greatest injustice in the world to me is that there's just millions of people dying without knowing who Jesus is, and they don't even have opportunity. I remember praying over a map over Morocco once and just weeping because I realized the culture in that society would not even allow the truth about salvation through Christ to be known. And it's as simple as that. I can't stand that anymore. I mean, I can't. So in Romans chapter 10, verses 13 through 15, Paul says, everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. How are they to call upon him of whom they haven't believed? How are they to believe in him of whom they haven't heard? How are they to hear unless somebody's preaching? How beautiful are the feet of those who preach the good news. And that's the whole root of this, and that's the root of the Great Commission, is Jesus desires for everyone to know him and to be in heaven. I mean, John saw it in a vision. Behold, there's a great multitude from every tongue, tribe, nation, people group, standing before the throne, before the Lamb, dressed in, clothed in white robes, holding palm branches in their hand and crying out with a loud voice, salvation belongs to our God. I mean, this is what this is all about. It's what we're called to. It's the most exciting thing in the world. It's the Great Commission. How could you not want to be a part of it? That's why I'll drive bazillions of kilometers through bumpy roads and fly for 30, 40 hours to get there, because there is an unreached person there, and we're going to find him, and Jesus is going to love him.
I am so excited to be here. I got to tell you, one of my most favorite things to do is just to be able to share about what God is doing in Africa. Go ahead and put up this slide here. You know, as my friend Mike shared about this place called the Tension Zone, that's really where we work, where our teams work in Africa. We call it the tension belt there because it's really just kind of like a belt that goes right across the middle. We have 402 indigenous African workers working in 25 nations there. And you can kind of see it's where like the desert of the Sahara comes down and it meets the jungles of the south. And it's literally a line in the sand where Christianity and Islam are meeting face to face. And these guys sacrificially live there to preach the gospel, to ensure that everybody has an opportunity to hear. One of those guys is Patrick Ijaka. Patrick works in northeastern Uganda among a people group called the Menning, an unengaged people group. In 2017, they were considered totally unengaged, meaning there was no church, no known believers, not even one missionary or worker trying to reach this people group. Patrick couldn't stand the idea of that happening in his country. He recruited a team of 4 and their families, and they left the comforts of concrete homes in the cities to move with the Menning people, where they would live in mud huts, facing dysentery, typhoid fever, malaria, wild animals, heat, famine. You can only imagine. With their families, sacrificing their life to make sure this gospel is preached. They started out by showing the Jesus film, having discussion groups with various community leaders. And then they did a little project because there was scabies just rolling through all the village. They did a project to alleviate that. And then they found incredible favor. In fact, God brought forth a man of peace by the name of Simon. Simon was one of the village chiefs. And Simon was, as far as we know, the first Menning person to give his life to Jesus. Today, out of 8,000 Menning people, There are 920 believers. I don't like that response. 920 believers. That's 10% of that people group is following Jesus. God is up to something. You've already heard it from the two guys before me. God is doing something like never before. So we're really excited. There's 12 churches now, one in each community. There's over 80 home churches meeting on a regular basis. And what's even more exciting is just last week, Patrick texted me, on WhatsApp, and he said, I'm with the Menning leaders, and we're actually training them and raising them up to be missionaries to the Karojamung unreached people group next door. I'm like, what do we got to pay for that? He's like, no, they do it on their own. They caught the vision of the Great Commission. That's what we're about. Now, here's the thing. That's so exciting to me. The story of the Menning people, and I've got countless other stories I could share with you. I'm honestly disturbed. There are thousands of villages that have no access to the gospel still in this tension zone of Africa. In fact, just a little while ago, I was in Senegal in a region called Louga, a region of 1 million people, entirely Muslim. I was talking to our church planner. Well, he's not Muslim, so they're not entirely Muslim. I was talking to our church planner, his name's Ngor, and one of the Muslim leaders, and I just said, how many other Christian workers or missionaries, pastors are there in this region? And he looked at me, the elder said, it's just him. You guys, 1 for 1 million? We're never going to fulfill the Great Commission if we've got one worker for 1 million Muslims. And Gord took me aside and said, well, I have a Timothy. He's working in the other village. 2 for 1 million. Come on. We've got to change that. In fact, I've seen studies that have said about 99% of mission funding from the U.S. actually goes to places where there's already churches, where there's already believers. That doesn't even define mission to me. You know, Mike said it, Matthew 24:14, this gospel will be proclaimed as a testimony to all nations, and then the end will come. Man, you guys, I want to see Jesus, like face to face, so bad. But I'm not ready to see Jesus until there's enough workers in Louga. I'm not ready to see Jesus until everybody has an opportunity to know who he is. So, what do? We want to see a body of believers in every community that we work in. And I know this might look absolutely crazy because it looks crazy to me sometimes, but I believe that we could impact 150,000 communities in the next 5 years. And that's based off the principles of exponential multiplication. Just like I shared with this Menning people group, that was a team of 4. 4 paid workers go up there, raise up believers. They're training them, equipping them, and sending them out. They're multiplying. We've done the math. We've done the metrics. Currently, each of our church planters plant about 4 churches per year, and each of their churches plant about 2. So in 5 years, if you actually do the math, it comes to about 154,000 churches. It's going to scale up. We're looking at sending out 250 more Patricky Jakas into the field. We'll probably do 50 a year over time just to scale it up. We want to give them all a budget for community projects, to alleviate scabies, to bring fresh water, whatever it takes. We don't have a box. We go into each community and we do our best to just understand what the community actually needs. So we might do water here, we might do a medical mission here, just whatever it takes, right? So we're going to have a budget for each of that. We're going to train and equip the workers on a yearly basis. We want to make sure that they're producing healthy churches, healthy disciples. They have the Jesus film equipment, the audio Bibles, whatever it takes. It's $3 million over 5 years. But that's only $20 per community impacted. And the thing to keep in mind is that just like with Patrick Ijaka, the people that they're raising up catch the vision. They have the heart of the Great Commission in them. They're discipled in that way. So it'll continue and continue and continue. So I just want you to envision yourself. Can you imagine joining with a Patrick to see an entire unreached people group reached? Or maybe you'll be the one that joins along and helps us to see enough workers in the Luga region to where we'll feel a little bit more comfortable about meeting Jesus, right? That's all I got. I can't wait to see him. I know you can't wait to see him, but we got to make sure everybody else has an opportunity. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Erik. We can do better. Let's thank Erik. Yeah. These presentations have been so awesome. I want to make sure I look my best up here as your MC. Kind of exciting for me. This is, whoa, brush fire. Let me get rid of that. Okay, all right, yeah. Sorry, just wanted to ignite for you guys. That's our theme.